Yeah, it's a nice little. It's not too bright in here. It was a good day today. Very, very beautiful. I'm gonna get into why it was definitely a good day on the ears, but you know what I mean. Got the TLC shirt. If you don't know, I'm sorry, but if you know, you know. Come on, man. T-Boz, Chili, Left Eye. It was good. Dude, those some good songs. If you haven't heard Waterfalls by them, just go listen to it. Just do it. Mental health check. Squeaky chair. But that don't do nothing. As you see, I'm up in the energy, you know what I mean? I slept a little bit earlier, got up a little bit earlier, went to the gym a little bit earlier. Today was biceps day. Buys them back. I've been sticking with the same routine. It's been working perfectly fine. Mondays, chest and triceps. Tuesdays, back and buys. Wednesdays are usually legs. And then Thursday and Friday is a repeat of Monday and Tuesday. But I didn't go to the gym because, you know what I mean, depression had me in a little chokehold. But I'll try to make it up some other way. Workout legs, people. It's kind of important. Okay. Um. Yeah. Mental health. We looking good so far. Nice day. Inspired to write. Started writing a little bit more on my fan fiction, Batman fan fiction. Life of the Bat is what I titled it, and I am up to, you know what? Because I had to make like an age thing because I'm aging him up. This is the different thing. It's going through the same motions in a way. I'm just like doing like a short story of it, but it's aging him up. So right now I have where I'm at in my fan fiction. I have Batman at age 38. Okay, Dick Grayson has been over in Bloodhaven since he was 19. So he's been there for about, I want to say 4 years now. Yeah, he's been there about 4 years now because I had it to where he went there for college because Bruce Wayne got the money, but he's like, yo, I want to go out there. I need to separate. The way I had the situation, he took it upon himself like, nah, I need this. I need this room. I can't be under your shadow. I gotta be on my own. I have him, yeah, going to Nightwing at around that time, like fully into Nightwing. And then I also have Jason Todd coming in around that time at age 12. Right? Yeah, at age 12. And then where I'm at now is I'm at in my story, yeah, Batman's 38. Dick is um Dick is 23 and Jason Todd. I went through that whole thing. I went through with it. Jason Todd is dead at 16. So you have the death of Jason Todd. And of course, roll around. I keep forgetting his name. Yo, that it kills me every time I forget about the third Robin's name. You got Dick, you got Jason. And you know what didn't help it? The Arkham Knights game. Because the Arkham Knights game, they left out not just I mean, was it good for them to leave him out? I don't think so. It didn't really make sense to me. But why is Bing showing up on my thing? I don't know. My thing with Arkham Knights, they went straight to Damian Wayne, and they did the same thing I did, which was forget about John Blake is crazy, which is they forgot about the other sidekick. And what's crazy is I don't know why. Like I forget about the sidekick, and then Tim Drake. Why is he so forgettable? Because you had Jason Todd, which was like the fighting style. He had it down. He was the first Robin. He was like a true tried and true like good sidekick. Jason Todd was more of he was like the brawler side, where Nightwing was more like more balanced and he was more the martial arts. Jason Todd was more of like the brute strength and the fear when it came to like Batman. That's the type of shit he had. And then Tim Drake was the detective side. Like out of the three, Jace Dick Grayson has the better hands. Jason Todd has the better like overall strength and fear. When it comes to like fear tactics and like putting fear into someone and like having to really like have that use your brute strength to scare the other, like that's what he had. He had that. Tim Drake had Batman's detective sense. Like straight detective. He's the best detective out of all. But it's like when you do that, when you're just like, when you're not like super great with hands, and you're not like this big, like, like you're not the brawler type, then you kind of just fall to the wayside. It's just like, oh, you're another one. The only one I really didn't fall on the wayside was Damian Wayne. And that's because he's actually Bruce Wayne's son. So, but yeah, I'm at Death of Jason, which means exactly Tim Drake has to come in at some point, because at that point Batman kind of went a little like off the rails, and that's when Tim Drake, if I'm remembering correctly, Tim Drake steps in and is like, "Yo, Batman needs a Robin, because in a way, Robin is what keeps Batman in line, like in check. Like there's nothing that Robin can physically do, but it's just the presence of Robin. That's what gets Batman through a lot of things." Um, but yeah, you know what I mean? Fan fiction is the way to go. Listen, I'm about to start becoming a fan of my own. Like it's stupid becoming a fan of my own fiction and writing it at different points, so that way I can, because I have these ideas lined up, and I'm just like, yo, beginning, middle, and end. Beginning, end. What do I do about the middle? It's crazy. And so for my fantasy stories and for my like comic book like stories, I kind of want to just, there are key people in there that I may just write like little like flash fiction stories about. You got, it's like you got short story fiction, and then flash fiction is just like even shorter than that. It's almost like it's not necessarily like when you have to do like a paper on something, like in grade school or high school. It was like, you got to do a paper. It's got to be 5 paragraphs. The beginning, then you got the 3 paragraphs in the middle that cover a different topic, and then you got the ending that pretty much summarizes everything and closes it out. But it's definitely in that lane. But when you have to write like flash fiction stories, they can be about 2 to 4 pages. But then they're kind of, there becomes a blurred line of short, like flash fiction and short story. That's where I always juggle a whole bunch of things. I'm trying to lock in on writing. I know I'll get there eventually, but for now, you know what I mean? We're gonna cover something on my paper. Life lessons. Life lessons with money. I seen a video, and the guy was talking to these high schoolers. He's talking to them about like gross. He was like, yo, basically knowing the difference between what you're making and what you're taking home. Don't get caught up in what you're making. Because especially like coming from me living in New Jersey before I came down here, you could make with yo, you could make 50,000. It's not really nothing. You could make 50,000, and the usual: dental, medical, um, what else? Retirement funds. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of funds that are taken out in the beginning just off of that. And then what they give you left, because they've taken out a good percentage of that already, and then you get paid what you get paid. But then on top of that, you have your own bills, like your own cell phone bill. You could have the cheapest cell phone bill. You gotta have. You don't have to have a car when you're living in big cities like that because they have public transportation. But it's just riding public transportation, depending on public transportation to get somewhere like on time for your job, or sometimes the buses be so full depending on when you go to work that sometimes the bus will just drive past you and now you have to wait like 20 more minutes for another one to roll up. They're crazy ass people that be coming up on the bus, or if you're like in New York, you ride the subways. I only rode the subways twice. Never a fan of it. When I had to go to college to Berkeley, I would get off of Penn Station on 33rd, and my college was up on 43rd Street. It was on 43rd and 5th, or 41st and 5th, depending on what class I had. I would walk every time. Good enough exercise. I would walk and these aren't small blocks, like New York City blocks, like they're not like neighborhood blocks. These are big blocks. So you're doing some walking. And then at the speed you gotta like, once you get there, it's like even the fast lane. You are walking, and I ain't have no problem because I was doing that. Now taking the subway, you know what I mean, taking the light train probably got me there within 5 minutes. I didn't care. I was walking. I had my music in. Sometimes I'd go to my people's at like there was like this store that would make you these omelets any way that you wanted, and it was literally like a block or two away from the school. I would hop in there, either I get my sandwich or I get my omelet ready to go, and I pop up into the class before it started, start eating. People started hating, and they started like, oh, we don't like it because it smells in here and people eat. I was like, you know what? That's cool. I would go to the next class over and eat in there, and they still try to have a problem, but whatever. But with money, right? Take home. That's it. Once you have take home, you got to plan for that, and you have to live within those means. It's something you got to do. And it's one of those things where like it sucks, but sometimes, especially living like up there, like up north, it costs so much for no reason. It never really, I never really got that. So down south, right? Most places down south, not too many places have a super big population, and it costs less. Up north, a lot of cities, a lot of places with a lot of people stacked on top of each other, and it costs more. You're getting more money in, and you want to charge people even more money. But where are you going to get it from? Because these people only make but so much money, right? So that was like, yo, you make 50,000 down here, you can probably live way better. You make 50,000 up there, it's barely enough because you know what they're going to take out of it. You know what you have. You know what you have to pay for your bills, your electric, water if you pay, unless it comes in a package, and then your apartment. That's the biggest chunk. And these apartments up there are going for studios, going for like 15, 16, 17, 19 if you're trying to get the luxury spot because you don't want to be in no crazy ass spot. And then the one bedrooms, forget about it. You literally, it's to the point where like you literally have to live with someone in order to like be with someone, not a roommate, be with someone for the one, excuse me, for the one bedroom apartment. You can't get no roommate with a one bedroom apartment. That's crazy. So like that was my thing with like it was a good thing that he was teaching the youth that, because if they know it now, then they can get in their minds now. So wherever they work, they know like either like, yo, this is where I do this, this is how I have to, this is what it means to live within my means. Cool. Um that money aspect, I know we talk about it like, oh, school should be teaching us how to do money, how to do this, like this. It's never gonna happen, boss. Teachers already got enough on their plate what they're going to do is cover their topic, their subject, keep it pushing. Schools aren't going to put any more money into having someone that knows about finances. They're not going to take the time neither, unless you got cool teachers that'll tell you like, oh yeah, when you do this, this is how you do this with this money or something like that. Or if you go to like a after school program, like a leadership program or something, maybe. Otherwise than that, majority of kids won't get that. That's where it falls on like parents to be teaching that. But at this point now, it's like parents, it's like they just like they have the kids, raise them for a little bit, and then just send them to school. Like, oh, when they go to school, they're gonna learn everything. They're gonna learn manners. They're gonna learn math and this. They're gonna learn life lessons. All of this, they should be good. Like, nah, yo, the teachers are literally there for one thing, and that's whatever subject they know. If it's an English teacher, they're only there for English, and that's it. Math, and that's it. Nothing more. Your kids act up, they gotta report it because it's distracting everybody else. Because everybody else is there to learn. Your kid don't want to do anything. You probably don't want to do anything about it. But then it's like you're probably busy with work, and it's just a whole, my favorite word, myriad. But it's like it's a whole bunch of things, whole myriad of things. Um, but I think what helps definitely is learning about finances, learning about money. And me, I plan all mine out. That's why I tell anybody that, like, usually women that I'm with, or just like some family members in general, or people I'm cool with. I tell them like, yo, I detail what I have to pay each month out. I have it on an eraser board because I put a check to make sure I remind myself like, all right, I paid this. Like I put my total amount of money I make, and then first half of the month, second half of the month, because that's how I had it. That was the template I had a couple years ago anyway. When the payments I received from working, of course, you get paid bi-weekly, or even if you get paid weekly, still do it bi-weekly. First half, second half. And you already know like whatever money you get up front, the bulk of it, majority of the time, the bulk of it, because you got to pay for rent on the first, a lot of bills on the first, that's going to be in the beginning. So you're probably going to be somewhat broke in the beginning. And then when you get to the second month, should be less to pay. And then that is where you'll see like, okay, I have enough money to play around. Or if it's too much spending in the first half of the month, switch some of those bills to like to be paid in the second half. And credit cards. Like when we when we tell kids like, yo, like, credit cards is this and that, like we gotta tell them like how not to get carried away too. Because credit cards will get you like you'll get lost in the sauce, dog. Yo, you'll get lost in the sauce of credit cards. Like I've done it a couple times too. I've even done it now because I've had no choice because moving down here, it was a new thing where like you have to pay property tax on your car, and it's like your car is being registered in the states. You gotta get that. I had to get my license transferred over. I had to get my title transferred over. It's just a bunch of stuff that I wasn't used to because living in New Jersey, we don't pay property taxes on cars like that at all. You just pay your registration and you're good to go. So I would say, yo, when you know about money and you the OG around there, maybe you're not the OG, but you still like you're the one that's working and you got like younger brothers or sisters and you see them getting some money, like yo, help them out because they're, and even if they are hard headed, yo, just keep, what I mean, put it in their mind like, hey, you don't want to be out here blowing your money fast trying to impress anybody. You going on dates or something like that, like don't, like, yo, that's part of living in your means too. Like me being single out here, I tell my peoples too. I like, listen, I'm not impressing nobody. I'm not keeping no type of front. I get a certain amount of money. The important things, because I'm financially responsible, I pay for all my bills. All my bills come before me. Where I live at, the food I got to get, my car, I pay for that. I fully pay for that, thank God. But the gas and stuff like that, cell phone bills, water bills, light bills, like all of that, and like the subscription fees, paying a credit card off, I put all that up front. After that, Like when I get all the numbers back, whatever that money is, even then, because right now I had to use savings to like move down here and stuff. But once I start building my savings up a little at a time, like even that, I still put above anything that I want. Once I get the needs part taken care of, then it's the wants. And that's the, if I got to give any advice, is just simply take care of the needs first, because you need that. Then take care of the want, because that is it. That's something you want. It's not immediate, but it'd be nice to have. Needs are immediate. You need to do this ASAP, otherwise you're gonna be asked out. Um, OG advice. Apparently I'm OG because I'm 33. So, and I took care of that topic too. Because I was gonna say single status, but it is what it is at this point. I don't have a loss of, like, people always say like, oh, the dating pool has like, is dirty, has piss in it or something like that. Like whatever analogy they want to use. The dating pool has always been the dating pool. It's just the ideals that people have are clashing, or their ideas of what they want a relationship to be seem to be skewed by social media or what people put out there in the internet. Everybody's trying to have the same type of relationship, or they're trying to have a relationship above their means, living within your means. That goes in a relationship too. Be in a relationship within your means, dog. Like, stop. No one's gonna come in and be like the housewife that shuts up and you can't talk unless I tell you to talk. You can't, you know what I mean? You gotta do this, you gotta do that. Like when I say drop, you drop. There's not gonna be some Prince Charming that comes in with like the 6-figure salary. Just like, you ain't gotta work, you ain't gotta lift a finger. Just stay home or just look pretty. Like, that's not a small amount of people. If they want that, small amount of people want that. Some people be faking the funk, like, oh, you gotta make this and this. They just saying it because everybody else says it, or they're just saying it when they make videos for clicks. It's a numbers game. But a small amount of people will get that. Everybody else will get what they get. And if you're real with yourself, then what you get is pretty much going to be what you need and what you want. Because you sit here false wants, all right? Because you want what somebody else got, knowing damn well when you get it, you ain't ready to keep up your end of the bargain. Is foul. Okay. Um, for me, like I always, like when it comes to this whole thing of like dating and stuff like that, it's also a life is a journey in itself. Main character podcast, because I'm the main character. So through everybody's a main character in their own story. So in my story, what I want is a woman who is the ideal partner that I know, I mean, that I need and that I want. Okay. I I'm a man that it's not a 50-50 thing. It's a, you put in, you do your, I'm doing my damnness to put in an effort, as far as like money, as far as time, as far as emotion, to make this work, to have this sustainable. I need you to put in equal amount of effort, and not equal in terms of my number, your number, but equal as in terms of you giving the percent that I'm giving. So like if I'm giving it, if I'm get let's put it in numbers, right? Put it in like health bar things or something, or like energy bars. If I got 200 and I'm putting in 100, that doesn't mean you have to meet me at 100. If you have 100 and you're putting in 50, then that's you putting in. Okay? That's you giving it giving enough into the relationship at the same level. Not the same number, at the same level. If that, I try to put it in numbers because numbers make sense. Yo, you know what I mean? Light bar. But numbers make sense. All right. Um, but me, it's to the point now where I'm not, you can be, you can be bad. Like you can be like, you could be tough looking. Like, like a 10, 11. And I've had, you know what I mean? I have my share. But it's cool to have the look, right? Because I know what I look for. And I look for, like, I'm a fit person. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I take care of my health. I don't eat crazy. I pretty much look for the same. Like, women that are, you know, have a certain weight to them, I say no thank you. I shy from it because it's just not me. All right. I know the body type I'm looking for. But it's not just that. It's what's beneath the wrapper. The wrapper is cool, but if the food underneath the wrapper doesn't taste right or taste spoiled, then what good is it in the long run? I need something that's actually good. So that's all I'm looking for. And plus, sometimes having some of the things in having the same likes. Like, I'm watching anime a lot of the times. I'm watching comic book stuff. I'm getting ready to talk about X-Men 97 in a minute because it was fire. But I'm watching stuff like that. I watch Harry Potter. I watch documentaries a lot of times. Well, not a lot of times, but here and there. Like, when it piques my interest, I'm sitting down for a documentary and I'm watching the whole shebang bang. I do collect little things here and there. I'm not like a big collector. Like, the other video I was talking about, like Funkos on the wall. You won't see that, but I will have comic book like tub where, like, I put like some of the comic books that I like. I may like how they look, the subject matter that was in there for that particular issue. I want to collect it, like some of the cards, albums that I'm starting to collect. I collect those. So someone within those rounds. Like, I'm also a writer, so I'd be writing creative. Like, someone that fits like some of the qualities. You don't have to have all of them, but have like a good chunk of the qualities because it makes it that much sweeter. And I'm not chasing perfection either because when you chase perfection, you're never gonna get. You're never gonna get perfection. You can say what you want and be like, "Oh, it would be perfect if they did this, 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 and this." It just doesn't exist. You can get near perfection, and that's cool. But I find imperfection to be just perfect. Two imperfect people coming together and having a good relationship. Because some people do two imperfect. You could be bad at this, but you're good at this. She can be bad at this, but be good at this. Sometimes it fits like a puzzle piece and creates the perfect relation. Two imperfects making it perfect. That's what it is. Um, yeah, that's yo. When it comes to relationship stuff, I really don't like. I don't have to get too into it because it's not difficult. People just make it difficult. Just like with jobs, like a lot of jobs, they're not difficult. What they say on there is like, cool, I can do this. But when you're giving me extra, when you're doing the most, like when you're making the task 5 times harder than what it actually is to the core, then that's where the problem lies. There we go. The problem lies in doing the most. And there's a good time doing the most, but then a lot of times people who do the most are just overdoing it. Um, cut away, cause this thing only shoots for 30 minutes at a time. Mm-hmm. What what did I say? And we're back. Even though it's gonna be a seamless video. Recording videos is fun. Recording videos is fun. I wish I could I wish I could put in the work. Voice acting looks cool. Voice acting seems cool too. If I could, then I would. I put it in the universe. People don't understand that, and like the things you say have power, it's true. Mostly because it's not just like a universal thing or like some type of magic or something like that. If you say something, depending on what it is, those like, oh, if you say something enough times, it begins to play within your head. If it begins to play in your head, then your mind starts to work around it. Your mind starts to work around it. Your mind controls your body starts working around it. So technically, what you say, what you feel affects, your overall like life, how you do things. Um, that's like someone saying like, "Yo, I wanna, like, I wanna grow wings. I wanna grow wings. I wanna grow wings." In there's specific things that you can do. All right, you saying, "Yo, I want to grow wings. I want to grow wings." It's not it. If you say, "I want to fly. I want to fly. I want to fly," you may set yourself up on something to where you catch a plane ride, and that's it. That's your fruition. You know what I mean? You're not just gonna leap up in the air and fly off. We don't got mutants. At least none that I know of, or none that the world knows of. Um, what I've the thing that I like to I don't want to say preach. The things I like to say is that what anime taught me, one specific one, Full Metal Alchemist, is equivalent exchange. And that is true. Equivalent exchange, the law of equivalency, okay? What you put in is what you get out. And people always say that, but that's where I really heard it from a young age was anime. Anime teaches you a lot, okay? But definitely like that law of equivalent exchange. I will I I want this and I'll happily do what has to be done. Like me, I want not want, but it was like when it came to moving down here, like I knew I was like, yo, I need a place that's for me, I was like, yo, I need a place that is affordable to my liking. And it was like that's what I want. Like the equivalent exchange offer that was like, I don't mind if I have to move out of New Jersey away from my family. Like I don't like I will trade being next to my family in for living somewhere where not only do I have peace, but I'm not like struggling over money. And I got that. So there's things that you can actually put into the universe and it's not like you have a magic quarter, but it's something to where put it out there. It's gonna ring enough to things start moving around, and you may not see it at first, so you have to catch on to it because it's not like oh, here it is. There are certain things that come along that kind of give you the chances of just, hey, this is your chance, what you were talking about. And if you deny it, you deny it. But you can't say that the universe didn't hear what you were saying. um Speaking of mutants that I was saying earlier, X-Men 97. X-Men 97 has been fire. Each episode, I haven't been bored once. Each episode has been on a roll. From episode 1, episode 10. Episode 10 was the last one. So for people that didn't watch it, just go and you and people who didn't watch it, a little jealous because now you have the chance to watch it completely new. You have the chance to watch it and you don't have to wait neither. You can watch it from 1 to 10. So I'm getting ready to watch it again from the beginning to the end because that's how dope it was. I do 5 on anime. What I'm about to do, I'm about to just in general just do segments called 5 on it, the play off of the hip hop song. But 5 on it is pretty much me, different shows, looking at certain shows, no matter if they're anime, cartoons, sitcoms, and looking at the first 5 episodes and judging whether or not it's worth continuing or it's just X-Men up there. Those first 5 episodes, it's just like, oh, they're doing that. And then of course you have people that you may have comic book knowledge here and there, Or you have people that have the real like those are the scholars when it comes to comic book knowledge, like Comics Explained and oh man, there's a couple of them, but Comics Explained is always out there. Comics Explained, Comic Story, and like they know it. So they're the ones I'll watch after each episode. Like, oh, it looks like they could go in this direction or this direction. And then when it goes in this direction, it's like, all right, they actually did that. Cool. This is the person from that. This is what they do. So if they're following the story along, it's gonna turn into this. So it's cool to see like them doing that, and then between them doing that, trying to figure out where it's going, and then seeing how it actually plays out. Or sometimes if you know just enough, you're like, you know what? I think they're going this route. If they go to this route, it's cool. If they don't, I want to see why. And that's how it's been for X-Men 97 the whole time. Season 2 is already written up. So all they have to do is animate it. I won't go into spoilers on this because I just want to say like, yo, it was fire. And you should definitely go watch it. So it's on Disney Plus, it's on Hulu. I mean, they're both merged anyway. Shit. I think HBO Max is getting ready to merge too. But it is what it is at that point. Listen, we're not going back to cable. We're going back. People are saying like, oh, we're going back to cable. They're just all putting it on one thing. We're not going back to cable in price, maybe, but we're more so going. It's not back to square one. It's back to square 1.5 because you had cable and then you had DVR. If you know what DVR was, DVR, you could set your TV to record something for you on there, and then it would save it in a file, and you could just go there to that file and watch what you could. So if you're at work and let's say a game came on or a new episode came on, and there wasn't like at the time there wasn't like YouTube or nothing like that where you could easily just go see the episode, or you could go online and like see the episode on the site. You had to wait until they showed the episode again, or you had to hear word of mouth from people that actually watched it. So DVR, it was recording it for you. Or in case you were like me, where you were able to set your VCR and a blank tape in there, so that way it would catch the for me it was cartoons. Because I had at a time, when was this? Was this when I was in 8th grade? I think so. I think this was when I was in 8th grade. And I had some type of Saturday classes at the at Essex Community College. I couldn't like I was watching at the same time channel like WB Kids and the Fox Kids, and I was also watching Channel 7 because Channel 7 ABC had they always had Recess and like Pepper Ann and stuff, and then I was watching Cartoon Network. I was watching these channels like just flipping to them at the same time to see if I was missing anything like new or something. But one of the channels was definitely WB Kids. WB Kids, I didn't care. I had to catch whatever was showing. Yu-Gi-Oh, Osmosis Jones. Um, was it Static Shock? They did show Static Shock for a time. I forgot what other. I gotta look back. I'm gonna do that one of the episodes. I'm gonna look back at Saturday morning cartoons to see like how lit it was for me. But yeah, that's what DVR was. DVR was that type of thing, and 5 on it definitely helps me to realize like, yo, some of these shows I watched before might have not been that good. I might have just been a kid that didn't know any better, or some of them were really good. And because I was a kid, I was only looking for one thing. And now that I'm going back to watch, it's like, nah, I gotta watch this over again. What did I miss out? X-Men 97, go watch it. Speaking of that, rest in peace to Dwayne McDuffie. Dwayne McDuffie was the person who not only made Static but made the Dakotaverse, and that was like his own Dakotaverse. It was like his own superheroes icon. What was it? Icon Hardware. I got the comic books. I gotta look in there one of these days. Man, you know me. I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna look at it right now. But definitely the big one was Static. It was Static Shock. Well, Static. The show was called Static Shock. McDuffie. Now let me tell you about Dwayne McDuffie, dog, because he helped on a couple of things. Two big things that he helped on that people know: Static Shock, Justice League, Justice League Unlimited, and Ben 10. So that's three things. But that's a hell of a three things. That's why, like, when I write, I'd rather have I have, like, in truth, 16 different ideas. Some of them are in the same type of universe, but there's still 16 different ideas, right? I'd rather have, like him, I'd rather have three ideas that popped up and made it big, and I'm known for that, and they play off of that, than have like a numerous amount that are like okay, and people are just like, oh, that was cool. Because Ben 10 was, and Ben 10 when he was out, when he was like helping with it, because the new one, understand they're making it for kids, it's kind of like whatever. But honestly, just like Justice League Unlimited, Justice League, I keep blending the words together, but like how the shows included their messages, and that, especially with Static Shock had some it had some shit in there. It definitely addressed like a race issue with Richie's dad, because Richie's dad was racist. Richie's dad was racist. Um, they never, you know what? This was a different time, because now they have it to where like Richie's pretty much Richie's gay, but I feel like if Dwayne McDuffie was still alive and he had came out with this show now, he would have been able to put that into it, because it's a little more accepted now. And that would have been a cool, because representation on both fronts. Um, but even with Static, when you had Anansi that episode, and Static was like, "Yo, like I'm not used to seeing many heroes like me," and you're talking about like me, he's like, "Yo, like me, I'm not," and that's true. That's why Black Panther got so much love, because it was like, dog, we see all these heroes on the big screen and they're cool, but I don't see me on the big screen, and it don't have to look exactly like me, but I just want it to be like skin like me, like just show me something, you know what I mean? Just show me a superhero that's black, and stop killing off characters that look like me in your horror movies. Like, have some of them live. It was like, yo, in Deep Blue Sea, I cheered because LL Cool J survived. Okay, this is a time where like, yo, Scream. If you was in Scream, you was getting off in the movie if you were black. Any other horror movie, off when you're black. Okay, for some reason, just black people weren't making it. It was just like I don't know. It was a thing with them. It was just like, hey man, we gotta show the magnitude of this movie. Oh, let's kill a black person. That'll make it more authentic. Like, oh yeah, like yeah, in horror movie situations, black people are gonna be. A lot of times, it'd be the first to die. Like, yo, in what life? I tell you right now, you put me in a scary movie. You put majority of black people in a scary movie. Say right now, this door opens, closes immediately. I don't care about none of this shit, okay? I got shoes over there I'm gonna put on. I'm gonna go out the door. I'm gonna go in my car. I'm gonna leave. I don't need none of this. I'm gonna buy it again. It's gonna suck, but you won't catch me. Like, you won't catch me. Any odd sound, it's either that or You're going to get out my house. I am not playing this. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of digging. Like, oh, there's a strange noise. Bet there's gonna be some type of bat coming out, and you better be the super demon that you're claiming to be. Otherwise, it's curtains. And then if it's like, yo, if I can't do nothing about it, I'm not staying here to figure out another plan. No, I'm leaving, and I'm gonna tell somebody else to do something about it. Okay, but yo, dog, it's just funny about like crazy tangents. Um, Dwayne, but rest in peace, Dwayne McDuffie. But Dwayne McDuffie, yes, Dwayne McDuffie, he is the man and a head writer for What's New Scooby Doo. Pause. You can't tell me this. You can't tell me this man wasn't great. Wow. Nah. You can't. You can't tell me this man wasn't great. I'm going. This is gonna be Dwayne McDuffie part. Okay. Because I'm seeing known for Static Shock, Justice League, Milestone Media helped with Young Justice. What's the previous ones? Yeah, Ben 10, Ultimate Alien, Alien Force. Some called Supermodels. I don't know what that is. I think I do, but I don't. But yeah, Justice League, Ben 10, Static Shock. Like he's one of the goats. Like not a lot of people talk about it. I don't know why, but Dwayne, like that's who. Like when it comes to like, damn, how can I be like the Dwayne? How can I be like the Stan Lee of this? Because Stan Lee very popular. Excelsior. I'll say Excelsior a couple of times because of him. But when it comes to like who would I want to be like, Dwayne McDuffie, definitely. And his own type of universe was so good that DC was like, "Hey, we want your characters to come, over here to this universe." I think something that happened a while ago was just like after his 49th birthday, complications with heart surgery. 49, like couldn't make it to 50. That's one of my things about health too. A lot of times, like if I don't feel like my heart having a certain way or like kidneys or something like that, I get super anxious. I get super worried because of that. I don't know. It's like this thing where I feel like black men are dying at an early age, and for me, 49 is early. Like not even turning 50. Like you know what I mean? Like to not even reach 50 is crazy because you're not even like I don't even like 50 is up there. I don't consider that like super old. Or you play like you old, but like not like super old. It's just like you're technically middle aged. Like at a mid age when you get 50. Like 49, you're like, yo, you're still in your 40s. Late 40s, but you're still in your 40s. Like that's why I go to the gym like I do. I change the way I eat. I don't eat too many fried foods. And I know like, yo, you working out, like a plane could fall or there could be bad weather that could take you out or some crazy person. But if I can eliminate one thing, then that gives me a better chance to live the next day or to live on in the future. Because if it's like, oh, it's health, crazy people, weather, unknown, and 25% of that is health, if I can take that away, then that means I have a bigger chance than what I started out with. But definitely, even in that short amount of time, it's a long time, but still it's a short time at the same time. Like even in that short amount of time, he still gave us great shows that I watched. I watched Static Shock. I'm not gonna lie, I watched Static Shock here and there over again. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I watched those probably every year because if I want something to turn on in the background and I'll still look and watch a whole episode, I will play Justice League, and then right after I finish that, I'm putting on Justice League Unlimited automatically. That's it. Yeah, Static Shock, What's New Scooby Doo, Teen Titans. Yo, this man is great. Like, don't tell, like, come on, man. Dwayne McDuffie. The film Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, which was fire. Batman going against Owlman, and they were at like I think they were like Earth Prime, and they had that whole speech. Unforgettable. All Star Superman was good. The Justice League Doom, where Batman had the protocol against everybody because he's like, nah, out of everybody, I'm human. Y'all are the super like, you know what I mean, superhumans. We need a way just in case you guys go off the rails. We need a backup plan. And of course, they had the normal thing on like Batman. He was like, well, what's you know what I mean, what's the backup plan if you go off the hinges? Like the Justice League. But honestly, I don't think that's true because if you already have a contingency plan for the Justice League and you go off the rails, then you're already going to combat the Justice League. And no one's gonna stop you. Batman who laughs. Yeah. Shout out to Dwayne McDuffie. And leading into that video game news, I can actually make this a longer video. I don't want to. I'm trying to stick to just an hour, maybe. But the Assassin's Creed, they showed Assassin's Creed. Speaking of, you know what I mean? Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows came out, and it's what people wanted, right? Too late, but this is what they should have gave us earlier. This is taking place in Japan. Of course, it's taking place in a past time in Japan, but nevertheless, it features two characters. All right, you have a female Japanese woman. I think it's Naomi or something, and then you have a samurai who happens to be Yasuke. Yasuke, the only black samurai or only African samurai in history. And they got records of it. It's only African samurai. And the way they have him in this trailer, he's Japanese people. Japanese people were short. Back then they were really short. African people have always been tall. So back then, really short plus the usual tall. He looked like I wouldn't be surprised if they called him an ogre. He looked just like that. He's got this figure. Like this is like a hulking like samurai type figure. And hopefully they don't fuck it up. But this, that's what pisses me off about the Yasuke anime. If they would have just did this, right? A little fictional, like Assassin's Creed is fictional. Not crazy fictional though. It could be possible, but not. Just do something like that, but in anime. The anime literally started out okay. It was like cool. Yasuke's there. They got him treated as like a slave or something, but then they welcome him in the house. He becomes a samurai. Cool. But then they put magic and some other type of weird shit into it. Then they put technology. Then the year has like some type of weird things at the end of it. Like, what are y'all doing? Y'all are, again, doing the most. Y'all are doing the most for no reason. Do the most in a good way. Make sure it's a good representation, good story. Give them some good action. Give them good dialogue. Okay? Make the story good. That's where you could do the most. But you were doing the most, adding too much in there. We wanted ice cream. You gave us ice cream. You put chocolate sauce on it. You put strawberry or cherries on it. You put sprinkles on it. You put Oreo cookies on it. You put all this shit on it. You're like, yo, what is this funny shit? It still makes me mad. But Assassin's Creed Shadow, the main thing the thing that I've seen people talking about, which kind of makes sense, is like, yo, we've already got excuse me. We've already got two games, Ghost of Tsushima, Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin was fun. I don't care what nobody says. People be shitting on stuff for no reason. Like, yo, Rise of the Ronin is fun. Don't listen to other people. Just play it. Okay. It was fun. But we've had these games and they've shown us like all that you can do in a Japanese setting, in a past setting, and it's almost like when you're doing these missions, it's almost Assassin's Creed like. So you guys are kind of late. You could have had a way early start, but they kept going back to Europe, kept going back to Europe, kept going back to Europe, maybe the Middle East, kept going back to Europe, kept going back to Europe, Egypt, kept going back to Europe, kept going like there's other countries, there's other continents. Like, yo, you have in America, and that one's cool. I like that one. Back to Europe. Like, like dog, expand, okay? You can make so many stories doing so many different areas. You could have Assassin's Creed. I mean, I know, like, yo, you had it in the Middle East, all right? In a certain part. Have it in Asia. Pick whatever part. Preferably Japan, because that's where you got ninjas and all that. Have one in India. Have one in Egypt and Africa. Have another part in Africa. If it's the origins in Egypt, then why wouldn't it spill down to Africa? To northern, more of a different place in northern Africa or west, east. Like, you went to America. Can it possibly be in Latin America? That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I just play video games. Like, yo, somebody should be messing. Yo, somebody should be pissing me off. I go like, dog, you have the answer. Where you got the ball. The hoop is right there. All you have to do is step in and dunk. And you keep deciding to shoot threes. And your 3-point percentage is not that good. Is it cool? It's not that good for you to pass up these layups, these dunks. Yo, you know what I mean? You're a 7-foot studio, and yet you want to shoot threes like Curry, knowing that you don't have it like that. You got it, but you don't got it like that. Just capitalize on stuff. Dog. I'm gonna save the topics for another day. My thing was aliens and my last thing was aliens in a multiverse. Because by now, if people don't think that aliens don't exist, we're not talking about gray, big heads, big eyes. Not that type of alien. I'm talking about just other beings that exist from another planet that if they didn't go through an extinction event, well, you know what I mean? The extinction event, okay? They didn't go through something that wiped it out and we had to start all over again in like a million years or so. Then they had life that popped up and still thrived. So they could be a million years ahead of us. So why doesn't it make sense that people have not only figured out the technology, if they're a million years ahead of us, a million years of steps ahead of us, that they could come here, observe what we're doing, and just like Star Trek, be like, yo, we're not supposed to make contact yet until they reach a certain level of intelligence and understanding. They probably came over just like, we'll give them 20,000 more years to see where they're at. You know what I mean? Or I had another. I'll touch. I'm going to circle that one because I'm going to touch back on that one between aliens and the multiverse. Which is it? Is it a multiverse, or because space is ever expanding, is it just that there's multiple Earths out there that we can't get to? Like if we were able to drive a spaceship and get to some other parts, there's like another Earth, but has a different outcome. Like maybe there's actually a DC Earth, but like far, like light years away. It's cool to think about. But that's my time for my hour show. I'm gonna keep calling it a podcast because it feels right, but you know what I mean. That's the show. That's the like, comment, subscribe, help your boy get these numbers up. I'm trying to get there, trying to do better, trying to get this practice in. Thank you guys, love y'all. For those that watch it, thank you. And for people that potentially watch in the future, hey, look where your boy's at.